want to go over the legislative branch here and talk specifically about the Congress express powers, and then I'm going to show you how to access the assignment that you're going to need to do for this part of the unit. When you think about the express powers of Congress, these are things that are written down, things that you can find. And I think about things like the student handbook here at Hanford High School or any high school that you go to. If you were to look for a rule that comes to mind when you think about the student handbook, what would you find? And I'd like you to pause the video and just think in your mind right now, what's a rule that I would find if I actually read the handbook? Now that you've done that, most likely there's some things that we would know. There's a dress code policy that's written out. There's things about that this is an alcohol drug-free campus. There's kind of a system of attendance and how you get excused versus how you're not, and if you're truant or if you're absent or if you're late, and all these things are spelled out with official rules in the high school handbook. And that is very similar to what we think about with Congress and the express powers. I say express, there's another word called enumerated. They mean the same thing. You're going to hear them both, so you're going to need to know what both of them are. But Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution gives Congress or the legislative branch the enumerated powers. This is the list of the things that you get to do. And there's no question that they get to do it. It's written down in black and white. And this is kind of how this goes. Like I said, my example is that the student handbook at a high school at Hanford here describes what our rules are like. The Section 8, Article 1 of the Constitution describes what these rules or functions for the government are. And so what you're going to be doing is you are going to be doing an assignment where you try to figure this out. And I want to show you how this works. So on my Unit 3 resource page, if you scroll down to 3.10, Part 1 is the video that I'm shooting for you right now. Part 2 you'll do after you start to complete this. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a copy of the 3.10 notes handout. And it's going to open a chart. And it's going to say that the enumerated powers, and then down below are the implied powers. And you're going to look at Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, and you are going to find examples, and you are going to list them down below. So you're going to look at the list of things it says that Congress gets to do, and anything that has to do with money or commerce, you're going to make a list right here. Anything that has to do with social or domestic means inside the United States, you're going to write it down in the middle. And then anything that has to do with military or foreign policy powers, anything outside the country, you're going to write down over here. And like I said, I'm interchanging expressed and enumerated because they mean the same thing. To do this, I'm linking the Constitution here. And when you open it, this is an interactive kind of Constitution where you can look at it. The link should take you right to the legislative branch, and you can zoom down. And I already told you that it's Section 8 is where you'll find this, the powers of Congress. And this is where you're going to go to make your list. And there's a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things on this section. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to look at the list and you're trying to organize this list as you see it. Okay. Once you have this done, you've kind of got them all sorted into the category in which they go. If you should be able to find 3 for every category. If there's more, list them. If there's not, that's okay. But you should be able to find 3 for every category. Once you have the top part of the chart completed, you're going to come back and watch Part 2. Part 2 is a video that I shot a little bit earlier, and that's going to give you the information that you need as far as implied, and it will explain what implied is. So these are the directions for the assignment, and this will be very important that you understand the difference between express or enumerated and implied powers of Congress.